If there's anyone here who's had it up to here with the Dark City Soldiers, I dare say it is Jeff Lewis.
Lewis has tried repeatedly to rid himself of the rivalry with the Dark City Soldiers. He did pin Murder One, the leader of the Soldiers, and he thought that ended it. But this week he's got Shadow Jackson one-on-one. Lewis has been on a tremendous winning streak here since he pinned Murder One. Hasn't been defeated on Wildside television in quite some time. And now he's got Shadow Jackson, the man all power out of the Dark City. He is definitely the meat and potatoes of the Dark City Soldiers, and he's a whole hell of a lot more than that.
Yeah, that he is indeed. And I hope with all these string of victories to Jeff Lewis, hope it doesn't go to his head. He seems to be a pretty well-rounded guy. I would think not. But I don't know, a series of victories on national television could do some strange things between the old ears.
You're exactly right there, and at this stage in the career of Jeff Lewis, he needs to be learning. He needs to be worrying about absorbing things and learning how to win, learning how to be a winner, and not worrying about all his TV time and all of his superstar status on NWA Wildside television, because frankly, that's irrelevant when you're one-on-one in the ring with another athlete. And if you get cocky in that very particular environment, Jeff Lewis will be one to tell you, you're not going to be able to fare so well.
I would think so. Definitely stick to your strengths. And I think Jeff Lewis, and it's still in the very beginnings of his career, I think is wise beyond those relatively few years.
Shadow Jackson clamping on a side headlock with those mammoth biceps. And that is where Shadow will get you each and every time. You don't want to match power with the guy. He is just naturally strong as an ox. He's Murder One's workout partner. Shoulder tackle, down goes Shadow Jackson. And Shadow making a beeline for the outside.
It's actually a rather promising psychological attack from Shadow Jackson. I mean, just as Jeff Lewis begins to get some momentum here, Shadow Jackson rolls on out. It's actually very credible. Of course, you run the risk of a count out. Both Shadow Jackson and Todd Sexton, I hear, know how to count to 10.
Well, Jeff Lewis has a tremendous amount of energy in his matches. He's going to definitely need to use that energy against Shadow here tonight. Shadow is actually quite inferior when it comes to pure technical wrestling, so if he wants to be successful, he's going to have to win it with his power game. Shadow is definitely, he's a one-man show at this point in his career. He goes to the power, he's good at the power, and he might as well stick to it, and that's what he's going to have to do to win this matchup. That and a lot of underhanded tactics, as usual, for the Dark City Soldiers.
And that being the case here, too. I mean, to tackle a man like Shadow Jackson, as I always say, man, you want to get that guy off his feet. And a drop kick that hit its target right in the mush. I think that's definitely a promising way of going about it.
Forearm to the face by Lewis, Irish whip, drop toe. Jeff Lewis coming off the ropes, rolling neck snap. Todd Sexton up on the apron. The Dark City Soldiers trying to use the numbers to their advantage early in this contest.
There he is. Oh, Jeff Lewis for turning his back on Shadow. Oh, my God. Turning his back on Shadow Jackson. And you don't want to do that. There's proof of the pudding right there.
Short powerbomb by Shadow Jackson, lateral press. Fails to hook to the leg, a little arrogance there, and it may have cost him, but I don't think Jeff Lewis was ready to be put away at that juncture in the matchup.
No, he is, but he's obviously here at a disadvantage with Todd Sexton dancing around a ringside. Oh, a charging forearm. Pretty much leveling old Jeff Lewis. And a pin attempt, even with a leg on the rope, still not enough to pin Jeff Lewis. You're right. Plenty of firepower left in Mr. Lewis. Although now considerably less after having that shin draped across the throat of Jeff Lewis from Shadow Jackson. Boy, that's a tough night, tough road to hoe indeed for Jeff Lewis.
Well, Jackson continually showing his skill level in the art of breaking the rules, an art that he learned firsthand from one of the dirtiest players out there, Murder One, his mentor, who's taken all of these Dark City Soldiers under his wing, and mysterious by his absence here at ringside tonight, but you can better believe the teachings of the urban legend are already in full swing.
Well, that's bad news for everybody.
High back body drop by Shadow Jackson. And Jeff Lewis lands hard. He's in a lot of trouble now.
I think Murder One probably has more Slim J on the brain at the moment than perhaps Jeff Lewis. But then again, you have enough Dark City Soldiers dancing around. Now including one Michael Adrian, who will be seeing in a future edition of NWA Wildside. I believe in 2 weeks, he's scheduled to be facing the chiseled specimen Onyx.
The one-man mafia, Michael Adrian. Talk about a career turnaround from a tag team comedy act to one of the most dangerous men in Wildside. And that's thanks to a lot of self-motivation and a lot of help from Murder One, his mentor.
Both athletes down, both trying to fight up. Todd Sexton, the cheerleader, so to speak, for Shadow Jackson. But no one feeds off the crowd vibe better than one Jeff Lewis, as we're seeing here.
Lewis is fighting back, firing up on the head of Shadow Jackson. Big power slam. He's going to try to put him away here.
Oh, Jackson barely gets that right shoulder up. I mean, barely. Andrew Thomas being rather observant there. And unique for him.
Ace crusher counter by Lewis there. Beautiful. He's calling for the Lewis driver.
Why does he need to call it at all? Just do it. Surprise us as well as your opponent, Jeff. There we go again.
Double underhook, and there it is. Lewis driver, and it's going to be another victory in the... Wait a minute.
Shadow Jackson's leg on the bottom rope. Unfortunately, it was put there by Todd Sexton.
Yeah, Shadow's been knocked cuckoo at this point. I don't think he has his wits about him enough to scratch his ass, much less put his foot on the bottom rope.
Charming.
Now Jackson returning to consciousness, scooping up Lewis, but Lewis rolls him up. Small package, wait a minute.
Roll up at a bit of a quick count.
Wrestling fan show winner, Shadow.
On Jeff Lewis obviously did not see that coming, but it was Todd Sexton at ringside, integral in the victory of Shadow Jackson. And Jeff Lewis is not taking this particularly well. I can certainly understand his frustration here in a one-on-one encounter. I dare say this was definitely Jeff Lewis's match to win. For Todd Sexton at ringside, the Dark City Soldiers have yet another visit to the pay window.
More action coming up, fans. Don't go anywhere.